Mr. Minnick here with a chill video teaching dictionaries using Python. Okay, so welcome to the first ever video that I've had after thousands with background music intro. Okay, students, please follow my guide here, period 8-9, 2018-19. Right now, reading the directions. For example, Ezekiel, you can see that we have to edit the keys below and matching values so that it's something interesting like artist, song, or animal name, definition. So right now, at your seats, change Chris to something like Beyonce or something, and then maybe some song that she sings here. I don't know what song she sings. Does anybody know a song that she sings?
22.
22?
No.
Yo, that's how she said.
Aiden's a liar.
Okay, real quickly. A song that...
Who?
Beyonce.
Single ladies.
Yeah, I know that song, Single Ladies. So right now, students at their desks are changing this to something like artist, song. And do that for all of these 6. The length of this dictionary would be 6. And do that for all 6. I recommend that you line up your colons when you're done with this. Line up the colons so that it's easy to see what are called the keys here and then the matching values to the right of the colon. Any questions so far?
Can I give you an example for one of them?
Okay, only if it's appropriate.
Yeah, it's appropriate.
Name of artist.
TA baby. We got to put a space in the bed.
Yeah, I think I've seen that online somewhere. Okay, then what's the song?
No.
Going back.
I think Drip is one.
Going back.
Drip. Yeah, Drip.
Oh, drip, not
No, it's called D-R-I-P.
Okay, so that's what you would do to change this to get full credit on this worksheet. Now, if you want more than 6, you can always copy and paste one of these and put in more songs in your playlist. Or if you have animal names, but keep it consistent. You know, if this is like, I don't know, a wrestling move, like a half Nelson, and over here, this would be like the instructions for how to do it. Put arm through opponent's arm, blah, blah, blah. This can be anything you want where you have matching pairs of what we call the key and then the value. Usually the key is one word or like 2 words at most, like the name of an animal, perhaps like aardvark. So usually it's a 1-word key and a value that's like more descriptive and perhaps a whole phrase. Do keep the single quotes around the keys and values. I don't want to get into it in this video, but that's kind of important for beginners. So at this time, the last entry that you have does not need a comma, even though Python allows it, but all the other ones need commas out here at the right end. I'm going to pause the video and walk around my classroom to make sure everybody's on pace to get full credit on this interaction. So I went offline, I filled in my key value pairs, as they're called, where I have a key, then a value, a key and a value. This overall is called a dictionary variable, not to be confused with what we previously studied in this course that were called list variables that usually had a set of entries such as NFL sports teams separated with commas, but where we had square brackets around the entries instead of these things that I call curly braces. So that's called a list variable, but that's not the topic of this video. Okay, moving on. This program, when it runs, it kind of already works. If we type a 1 here as the customer, the human, the user, whatever you want to call it, and hit the enter key, it does print the keys. which for me are animal names. But for many of you right now in my audience, it might be the names of musicians or artists. That's just printed out here if you typed the menu choice 1. It does print an annoying set of square brackets and these single quotes. Later, you can upgrade this so it doesn't print the list in this annoying computer science way. But at least menu option 1 does work at this time. However, according to the directions on this worksheet, I would like you to edit your menu option descriptions so that now, instead of it saying display names, or I'm saying, instead of saying display keys, you should say like display artist, or in my case, display animals. So for me, on line 39, I'm changing my menu option 1, so it says display animal names instead of keys. Take the time in the next couple minutes to go through your menu, and anywhere that you saw the word keys, you're substituting your topic in for the word keys, or singular in menu option 4. If it's just one key, for me it would be animal, not animals. Now I reserve the right to take points off if you're not watching this video or just using common sense and you're not editing your menu nicely, because that's what the customer will see on the app that they might download. They don't want computer science geek words like key and value. But those are the generic terms that we use behind the scenes when in the real world, these dictionary variables relate to like different types of information. Okay, so moving on, menu option 2. If we run the program at this time and test menu option 2, I think it works. For me, it should display the animals sorted in alphabetical order from A to Z. Well, they already were typed in that way, so I don't really have a good test. I typed them in where the student Aiden would know that this is position 0 and this is position 1, but I put my keys in order. Now, there's no law that says aardvark had to be listed first, so for the purposes of the video and explanation, I'm putting aardvark here just because I can, aardvark, and I'm switching the matching values so that in this video, they are not in alphabetical order originally. So give me a second to make that quick change with copy and paste. So that dog is now in position 0 overall of my dictionary variable, and aardvark is down at position 3 or 4. So now you can see that when I run menu option 1, my animals are not sorted in alphabetical order because aardvark is in the middle, starts with A. But when I type in menu option 2 with the keyword sorted there, sorted means, in order, now aardvark comes up first. And if that were like 100 names of animals and you wanted to quickly see if something was in there or not, a human can quickly, because your alphabet. Unlike a 1-year-old that doesn't know their A to Z alphabet yet, and I even know it backwards. Special bonus at 8 minutes into this video. Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. That was solving a Rubik's Cube, or I mean saying an alphabet backwards. Now, if you want me to solve a Rubik's Cube, I can do that too, but I know people that can probably do it faster than me. Yeah, like in this room, but wait till I practice some more. Okay, back to the topic. Menu option 2 now works. Later in this video, we're going to go study why it works the way it does. But right now, let's get menu option 3 working. Okay, matching values. What should I change matching values to be more descriptive to the audience? Instead of animals and matching values, what are my things to the right of the colons? In your street wording, what would an English teacher or biology teacher consider these to be? Like animal descriptions or animal definitions? So right now in your program that you're doing at home, change matching values here to something better, like animal descriptions. You might have like song titles here, where you have artist and song title. Instead of key and value, I want real words in here. Now, instead of matching value singular, that would be animal description. Or just description, I guess, would be fine. That would be more user-friendly. Now my menu's looking pretty good, except for the fact that menu option 99 is there instead of 5. I did that so that I can add more features to this app later, perhaps as an expanded worksheet after this worksheet video is over. I don't think we're going to go the whole way up to 99, but we'll have like 5, 6, or 7 probably added to this. And eventually then we'll change menu option 99 to whatever's an appropriate number that comes right after the last other option. Okay, testing this now. Menu option 3 should work. The downside to menu option 3 currently is that it's very like wordy. Dog has a matching value of an animal that is man's best friend. Plus, I didn't put the apostrophe in there for technical reasons I don't want to get to it right now. Later, we will upgrade that menu option so it's just printed out in a less wordy, redundant way. But it does work. All of these keys do match the value. Cats purr, aardvarks eat ants, elephants are found in circuses, etc. If you're doing this with artists and songs, they should match when menu choice 3 is typed. Okay, this is just like a contact list on your Apple iPhone or your Android phone. You know, Google contacts work just as well as Apple contacts. So there are millions of different applications of how you could use this in the real world. Okay, menu option 4. If we input an animal, it should give us the description, kind of like a Quizlet or a Kahoot or something like that. A flashcard where you like turn it over and you see the definition. So let's test menu option 4 to see if it currently works. But you have to know what one of the legal keys are. So for me, the keys are animal names. I nicely printed out the list of names in unsorted order so that the human can see what are options. If you type in something that doesn't exist there, like mouse, hit the enter key, we have a runtime error. So we'll address that in a future video. But for now, you have to play nice. And when you do menu option 4 right now, you need to type in, spelled correctly, I'm sorry, menu option, 4. Wait, why did it not work? I'm going to test it again. Run the program. Menu option 4 should give me this list of available animals. I'm going to type the word bear, spelled correctly with no leading or trailing spaces. If you type a capital B there, it's probably going to mess up. If you put an extra space at the end of the R, it's probably going to mess up until we use the trim command. I think that's in Python trim or strip. One or the other can be used to take away any extra spaces. But for now, if I type bear and hit the enter key on my keyboard, it does say that bears eat honey. So it worked. It gave me the matching description for the animal name. In other words, it gave me the value for the key. And let's check menu option 99 to make sure it works over here. If I type in 99 and hit the enter key, it says goodbye. So everything works in this video, but I don't think my students understand why it works the way it does. So let's take 2 more minutes or so in the video to understand underneath the hood of the car why the engine works the way it does. Okay, haha, but you need to learn how to change the oil so that in the real world after high school, you can have a job where you write apps like this. So here goes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're back live after a restroom break. So essentially this program, the hood of the car, under the hood of the car, as I like to say, is really down here in what I call the main program area. The menu is implemented as a defined DEF function. That's like pretty obvious and easy to upgrade. And the variables, the one and only variable in this program, dictionary 1, dictionary 1 should probably be changed to something like playlist or, in my case, animal list. I'm not going to do that at this time. I'll do it at the end of this video. But for now, it's called dictionary 1. So let's look in the loop. Let's click the little plus here in Replit. It lets you fold your code up. See, folded, unfolded, folded, unfolded. So unfolded, we look inside the body of the loop that's indented because Python makes you indent your code perfectly. The student that's in my class, Garvin, knows that if you have one space there, it breaks the program. Because the guy who sits next to him one time did that and needed help. So Garvin showed him that it was indented too far. Well, anyway, I put white space in here because that's just good style to break it up so it's not hard to read like this. This would be so hard to read, I'd like take points off. Like this is just unnecessarily like cluttered. So I space out my things that I plant in my garden. I space them out so that their roots can like expand under the soil. So there, display menu, that's obvious. It displays the menu every time we go around the loop. It's pretty obvious that this loop goes as long as the not equal to symbol, 99, is true. So we have this variable called menu choice, and whatever the human inputs to the screen using the input command, the inputs go in here like that 99. And now the hard part, the giant if, else if, else if, else if, else if. Now I don't know why Python took out the else from else if, like other computer languages spell it this way, but Python just makes it elif, which is hard, but oh well. And if menu option choice 1 is typed, this is how you do it. This is how you print the names of the animals. If when you run the program, you type in menu choice 1, it's just surprisingly easy to print your list of artist names or animals. You just do this. You type the name of your dictionary variable .keys, and then you, what I call listify it. You use the list command with parentheses around dictionary1.keys. All of that turns this half of it, the left half right here, it turns that into a list with square brackets. And it puts them in this order where the student in my front row knows that that's position 0 and that that's position 1, etc. And he also knows that the length of that list would be 6, just saying. Anyway, it's just 2 lines of code basically that you can use to print the list. Pretty easy. Hey, menu option 2, the menu option that prints the sorted list. All I did was, surprise, I added a line of code that calls the sort method and sorts the list of keys. So maybe at your seat, you want to add that hashtag comment to make your program more understandable to you if there's ever a quiz on this, or you have to use this in the real world on your job. But there's this sort command built into Python that will put things in order if they're in a list. If only if your NFL teams are in square brackets does it do that. But it's pretty. By default, good question. I don't know what order they go in. If it's strings, it assumes it's alphabetical order. But if it's numbers, it would go from like 1 to like a million. But sometimes in life, you want things in the reverse order. There is a reverse sort method in Python, but I'd have to look that one up because I don't have that one memorized. Excellent question. Grad ticket for that student later if he remembers to claim it. That's what I like, to have students ask good questions that sometimes I don't even know the answer to, but I could look them up and get back to you. Okay, moving on to menu option 3. This is a little more challenging, not much. We use a for loop. Now, before in this course, we traced for loops that look like this. For I in range 1, 10. Stop, don't hit the garage wall. 10, okay, this is inside joke between me and my students, but you can always print like the numbers 1 to 9 if you used a for I in range loop like that. We all know that in Python, it doesn't actually print that number. It stops right before it. But this is a different kind of for loop. This is a for loop where it does what's called iterating through a list. So this variable could be named I if you wanted to. You could name that variable I, but that's bad style in computer science. So any name like, say, MM this guy who sits in my last row, his initials are MM. I could use his initials if I wanted to, but I'm not. I'm going to name it next key, meaning like next batter up, the next key. So as I cycle through my dictionary, this for loop knows that it starts at position 0, dog, then it goes to bear, then it goes to cat, and it knows when to stop because it knows the length of that. You don't have to worry about the garage wall. It just knows, like an adjustable belt, when to stop. Python is awesome because it has things like these for loops that just automatically work, like automatic brakes or something. In Java, we don't have things as easy as this. Just warning you, in case you take my next year's course. Now, Java has some things that Python doesn't, like faster speed. But usually, unless you're doing stuff that like millions of people are using Instagram all at the same time, you don't need that speed. So Python's the right tool for the right job in small companies and in big companies with extra bells and whistles added. Anyway, this is it. Right here, if you use square brackets in this way with the name of your dictionary variable and then the name of MM or I, the square brackets just plain and simple work. And they print out the matching key value pairs. Okay, so that works. I don't want to get into it in this video, but there are 2 other standard ways to do that you can read in the hashtag comments if you care. Last of all, menu option 4. This one's a little bit harder. We first take our keys like we did before, and we store it in a list, and we print it so that the people see the list of animal names. Then we ask the person to enter one of those, like bear. Then we just use the square brackets. So really, this is a combination of menu options 3 and 2. Actually, 3 and 1. This is really, menu option 4 is really a combo of menu options 1 and 3 above. Just saying, technically speaking, if you took extra time to study this code, it's just rehashing other features. I could charge people 99 cents for this app because of the convenience of it. Okay, last of all, 99. If you want to change that to 5, that would be fine because I'm done with this video, and in future videos, I'll add more menu options. But right now, it makes sense to change all of this to 5s. And if you want full credit on this worksheet before the bell's about to ring in 5 minutes, everywhere that I have dictionary 1, I'm going to do a find replace by doing Open Apple or Command F and doing a find replace using this snazzy website Replit. I can search for all occurrences of dictionary 1 and replace it with something like animal dictionary or just, I don't know, animals. You can name it something like, I'm going to name it animal dictionary so that people understand my code better. I'm crossing my fingers and clicking replace all instead of one by one and hoping for the best. Now that I've done that, my code, instead of having dictionary 1, everywhere that I had dictionary 1 as a variable name, it now has animal dictionary, making my code more readable. And I think this is good to go. I think I did everything that was up here in the to-do list for this worksheet. I'm going to test the program off the video. And if I have any errors, I'm going to ask the teacher for help or get quiet help from somebody near me in the classroom. But right now, one last test of this program before I sign off on the video with my famous beatbox song. I type a 1. Yes, menu option 1 works. Menu option 2, sorted. Yes, it works in sorted order alphabetically. Menu option 3 currently works, although it looks kind of ugly, but I'll fix that actually at the end. Menu option 4, if I type in, say, bear or aardvark or elephant, such as elephant with no extra spaces, it does print out that elephants are in circuses. And menu option 5 does work as an exit. It says goodbye. As a real quick upgrade, I'm going to say something more cool than goodbye, like see ya. And I'm going to change this has a matching value dorkiness to just a bunch of spaces so that when I test menu option 4 this time, it's not going to say has a matching value of. It's a little bit more, oh, wrong. It was menu option 3 I meant to say. And I messed up in the act of doing that. Let me run it one more time. I tested it incorrectly. Menu option 3 now no longer works. Uh-oh, we have a problem here. Oh, menu options 3 should have a bunch of spaces there. I thought I changed that. I'm going to change this back to has a matching value of. I changed it in the wrong spot. And one last test of menu option 3 that better still work. I don't know why it wouldn't. Yes, it works. I put spaces in here instead of saying has a matching value of. There is a way to get these lined up better, but that I'll show you after school or in another video. That's it. Signing off in 3 seconds. Whatever.